We are recording now, so you may begin with the Inquisition.
That was a tired intro, Sam.
I am tired, man. I'm tired.
Me too.
I'm
This
sorry.
is gonna be a tired show. Tired show, yes. Here we are again with another episode of the Western Contingent. I am Tim from Las Vegas.
Sam from the Pacific Northwest. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Welcome. And here I am in my messy room back here. So,
man, life is life, bro.
Life is life. Yeah.
We all got that room.
Yes, but we don't show it to the public. So, but
it's okay. I'm not showing that part of this room, and it's pretty nasty over there.
Yeah.
You want me to move over? I'll join you.
What's that?
In the messiness.
You'll join me in the messiness. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'll flip the screen.
Oh no,
we both have messy screens.
Oh. And listen, also, I just want to say sorry, folks, about some any ambient noise. They're doing some housework today, so you might hear a little pounding and noise. I'm going to try to mute it every now and then, but if I forget or whatever, you just might hear some background stuff.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Life is life. It happens.
Yes.
We got stuff to do, y'all. It's okay.
That is true. That is true.
How's everything going for you, though, buddy?
Oh, yeah, it's going fine. It's funny. We've had about 2 weeks, week and a half of like rain and clouds and stuff here. It's cloudy today, but it's not raining. But just really weird for Vegas, right? I think we only get like 4 inches a year. So, yeah, it's just been unusual weather. It's good to have a change, right? But you don't want too much gloom, like clouds and gloominess.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's
some people like that overcast, rainy. It makes them feel kind of cozy because it just makes them want to stay inside and curl up next to the fire or whatever. And I'm kind of that way, not completely. I like my daily dose of sunshine, but I kind of like having an overcast sky sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, every now and then, for sure, I love it. It makes me harken back to my memories of growing up in New England in the fall. But it's been, like I said, about a week and a half now, and like little extended periods. No, not so much.
Yeah, I get you.
And how about you? What's going on up there?
Not much. We leave early to go work out before I have to get back and get the kids up to go to school. And this morning we left and it was raining, and we were like, and she just said, I wish it would just snow. Because play in the snow. You can't play in the rain. Which you can, but what she meant is that at school, at her preschool, they have outside time in the morning, and when it's raining, you can let them go outside unless it's raining too hard. But if it's snowing, you just let them go play in the snow, and that was kind of her thing. But I'm kind of in the same way. We're in this like holding pattern of cold, wet weather, kind of like what you were saying. It's been an extended period of time. And it's like, enough already. Let's move on to something else. I don't care if it's like no rain, no snow, just like clear skies and dry, or if it's like, come on, bring on the snow. Either way, let's just move on from what we've been doing. We've got freaking leaves all over the place. One of the things we love about our house is that it's like nestled at the top of this cul-de-sac. And we've got a great view going across the valley to the to seeing the other plateau on the other side of the river. Much better view than anybody in a cul-de-sac ever should have. So we're not complaining at all. But we have a lot of trees on our property. We've got 1, 2, 3 in the front yard, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees in the backyard. My backyard right now looks like a leaf pile, period. End of discussion. No grass, no dirt, just leaves everywhere. And at some point, I know I'm going to have to get my overweight butt out there and do some raking, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I was able to use the blower in the front yard, and it looked fine, but then we had a windstorm, and now it looks like I didn't do anything at all again.
Yep.
First world problems.
There you go. Leaves getting in the way. Yes. So how about games? Been playing any good games lately? Anything?
Yeah, actually, yes. Been playing a lot of and most of them haven't been new games. They've been old games that I'm just that I'm newly coming into. I didn't know about these games that had existed. One of them was 7 years old. The other one was like uh 5 years old. Just never even seen them, never even heard them. You got 4 or 5,000 games coming out every year. You
Yep.
miss some, right?
Yep, of course.
So I just never really got any of it. I did have one game that I'll talk about today that we did a prototype play of. It's a prototype that we got from 25th Century Games. I'll go ahead and do it. It's called Rheinländer. But Rheinländer, this is a reprint of a game that came out in 1999 originally from Hasbro. And then Face to Face, they did another reprint of it with like upgraded components and that kind of thing. And now 25th Century is bringing it back with artwork by Ian O'Toole. And I think they're redoing the rules a little bit, changing a couple of things here and there. I never played the original game, so I don't know how much is being changed. I do know that the rule set that I have is a Word document, so it's like it's a super prototype. But Jess and I played it yesterday on the stream after I taught myself how to play it. It doesn't have a solo mode or anything like that. I just did a 2-player game and played through it myself. And so it was the second time I played the game technically, and it was the first time she ever played it. I enjoyed it, but it's one of those games where it's like, why is this getting a reprint? Because it doesn't seem like it's the kind of game that a lot of people are clamoring for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they're doing a reprint of it, other than the fact that it's a Reiner Knizia game and his name is still prolific.
It is.
So I get it, but I don't get it at the same time, but again, that's not to say that we didn't enjoy it or that it shouldn't be. I just wonder why.
Well, again, Sam, I know we've talked about this before. A lot of times publishing companies, I mean, it's just a matter of doing business. Like, sure. Right. Like you said, it's a Reiner Knizia game. And they're like, hey, we can print X amount of copies for this cost. We can get 4 or 5X of our return on it. That'll help pay the bills for a couple months.
Absolutely. Yep. No. Yep. And that's a good answer. That's a good answer to the why. And I'm totally down with going with that. We only played the basic version of the game. There is an advanced mode where some of the elements of the board game can be used for different things. And so I'm looking forward to diving into that part of it. As it was, Jessie enjoyed the game, and it was her absolute first experience with it. She thought it was fun. She understood the strategies that were involved and all of that kind of stuff. And she saw how things could have gone differently with, one slight change on her side and another slight change on mine. And so there's a lot of good things about it, and we enjoyed the play. And I'm looking forward to going into it a little bit deeper. But it's coming to Kickstarter soon, and I don't know exactly when. I believe it was supposed to come last month, but it didn't. And I think maybe this month sometime. But again, we're running out of time this month, so I don't know exactly when it's coming to Kickstarter. But they're running like a huge multi-game Kickstarter. They're doing this one. They're doing another one called, I believe, Raw, the Dice Game, which, again, another Reiner Knizia title. And then they're doing a couple of other imports from, I believe, Europe in the same Kickstarter. So if any of that interests you, go check it out. But that's Rheinländer.
Oh, very good. Well, I got a chance to play a couple of games I'm going to talk about today. The first one, both happen to be in my favorite genre, which is cooperative games with limited communication or hidden information, however you want to put it. And the first one had a soft release at Gen Con. It just got released, to retail by Pandasaurus, and it's called Beasts. And have you ever played The Game?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, that's right. I think we talked about that. Yeah, it's not what you feel. Okay. Yeah, I love the game. I think the game is fantastic. It is sort of the game concept on super steroids. So if you know the game, it's just a cooperative game where you have a deck of 98 cards and you're trying to play them all. That's it. That's the concept of the game. This is basically sort of the same concept, but you're working on a 3-digit number from 000, and the highest, of course, would be 999. And you don't have communication. You play cards. They have suits, and then they have beasts that come out that have like matching half suits and stuff. So I'm not going to get into all that, but it's just the genre I like of the limited communication, fully cooperative, because the reason I like those so much is you have to be invested on everybody's turn, right? Because it's not just like you can take your turn, these big, heavy Euro games, which I like, right? You take your turn, blah, 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 blah. And then essentially, if you're playing with 4 people, you can kind of just sort of turn off because it's their turn. They're doing their thing. When it gets back to you, you do your thing. But in these cooperative games, you have to pay attention to everybody's turn. So you always have to be fully invested the whole game, because every action has consequences, what everybody does, so that's why I love it. But it's a really enjoyable game. I really like it. And it's one of those kind of things, the one sort of drawback that it's pretty much universal is I think they've overdone the artwork. Because sometimes with games and numbers, right? Like if you look at like Rainer Knizia games you talked about, a lot of his games are colors and numbers, right? Like Snibbed or games like that. All you just need a clear number or a clear suit, like a regular deck of cards. You don't need to get all fancy and do this kind of stuff. And I think a little bit of the artwork has gotten in the way of gameplay because it's sometimes a little hard to discern the cards and stuff. And I just think they overdid it when it could have just been a simple, very simple,
Sure.
But it's good. It's enjoyable.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I've never heard of it. So the second game I want to talk about is one that I'm actually playing tomorrow on the channel, solo mode. And I've played 3 games of this so far. I've played 2 4-player games of it. And then I've also played 1 solo mode. And I'm also going to do another solo. I'm really enjoying this game. And I haven't even dove into the expansion material that I purchased first by accident. And I may have mentioned this earlier. I can't remember. I don't think we did, because I think we recorded the last one before I actually played this. But this one's called the 100 Torii. This is put out by Pencil First Games, designed by Scott Caputo, and came out in 2020. And this is just one of those games where I just totally missed the boat the first time around, and which is strange because it's Vincent Dutrait's artwork. So I just had to have just not even known it existed for me not to give it some of my interest, because that was the first thing that I noticed about a game. We were at a small little weekend retreat, board game retreat that's up at a place called Camas Meadows Bible Camp. When we got up there, they were setting up this game on a table, and Vincent's artwork just popped on it. First off, I was like, is that Vincent Dutrait's artwork? And he was, yep. I was like, all right, I'm interested. What is this? And, it had a stack of tiles. So I was like, okay, this is probably a tile laying game. But what else is going on? And so he starts talking about the game. And before he's actually even done teaching how to play the game, I'm on my phone looking for a copy. That's how much it clicked with me right off the bat. And so I was like, I want this game because I love tile placement. It's got set collection in it. Really, that's the entire game. It's tile placement and set collection, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. But how the puzzle is kind of worked out over the course of the game is really interesting as well. It's really a non-complex game, but it's got a lot of thought that goes into it. This is definitely one of those games that you probably don't want to play with somebody that suffers from analysis paralysis, because there's so many different options. The way that the tiles are made is that they can be placed anywhere. The paths will match on all 4 sides of the tiles, no matter where you place it. But the catch is placing it in a spot that's going to give you maximum benefits and then make it more difficult for somebody else to get maximum benefits on their turn. In my haste, I accidentally bought Diverging Paths, the expansion, first. And about halfway through the game, I was looking at the box cover on the table, and I was looking at the box cover of the thing that I just ordered. I was like, that doesn't match. Crap, what happened? But later on that afternoon, I just ordered another copy of the base game, and I was able to find a Kickstarter version at Noble Knight. I really enjoy this game. Looking forward to every play of it so far. Really looking forward to diving into Divergent Paths, the expansion. It's just one of those things that for me, it was a hidden gem. And I'm like, it's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, cool, found one.
Nice.
Kind of like a thrift store find, but it wasn't a thrift store find.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Really enjoy this game, though. If you haven't tried it out, you really do need to. It's really, really fun.
Okay, yeah, I see that title a lot. It's in our library, and we're doing a massive arrangement of the library, and I just put my hand on that game literally just the other day. 100 Torii, and because it's a Torii, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because I noticed that. Yeah, I always see that weird name, and I just didn't know anything about the game, but very cool. So the other game I'm going to talk about is again fully cooperative with limited communication, put out by Libellud. It's called Take Time. I had a chance to play this a few months ago, and at first I was a little hesitant, and the reason is because again I love the part of limited communication, because the whole part is just trust. You need to just trust everybody's doing the right thing because you all have a vested interest in winning the game together. Right. This game adds a component where in the beginning of the round, you can all freely discuss strategy, which is really cool. You're like, okay, listen, we should do this, blah, 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 blah. You make plans, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. Deal the cards and shut up. And then you just gotta play, right? You just gotta do the cooperative with no communication. So that's really intriguing to me because I haven't found a game, with this mechanic that I like that does that, because you're not supposed to kind of do that, right? That's the whole thing, is not to strategize together because you're just supposed to trust. But this you do before, but then once your gameplay stops. And it's very interesting, and it's strictly just numbers, Sam. Again, with Rheinländer, we talked about this before, games that just use numbers, and then when you add maybe just colors and numbers, I'm just fascinated how just the breadth of games that come up with just numbers, right? Yeah. And what you can do with that. It's just incredible.
Who is it by again? Libellud?
Libellud.
Okay. I'm thinking of a different game.
It's the good thing about it also is it has the same sort of thing where there are 10 chapters and there are 4 scenarios in each chapter. So basically 40 games to complete the whole thing. Yeah. I played it both this past Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we played the first 2 chapters, so 8 games, completed them all. It was just like, yes, it was so exciting. And then on Sunday, there's a demo version that came out where I taught other friends just the demo game, which had 4 version of the demo. But yes, Take Time by Libellud. It's really, really good, and I am so looking forward. Hopefully tonight we can maybe do the 3rd and 4th chapter to get in there. But it's brand new. So if you like that kind of genre, I highly recommend it. I think it's going to be a very, very popular game.
All right. Well, moving on to our episode topic.
Oh, very intriguing
topic for today. This is going to be, I don't know, it feels a little cheesy, but I think we're just going to run with it because
everybody likes cheese.
What's that?
Everybody likes cheese now and then, right?
Everybody likes cheese. Yeah. That's right. Cheese is good. Anyway, we the other peeps at the Dice Tower over on the eastern side of the country have put a couple of videos out recently called Hot Takes. And this is where they have opened up the email communication channels and had people send in their hot takes. And then Joey, Chris, Camilla, Z, and Tom, they sit around the table and they respond to these hot takes. And so what I thought we could do is just respond to some of those.
Oh, let's do it.
So I wrote down 16 of them, things that when I saw them, I was like, oh, that's something me and Tim have talked about. Let's talk about that. And, but it's like little tidbitty type stuff.
Okay.
We're not going to have an entire discussion. We're just going to respond to what we think about these different hot takes, and we'll go from there. But that's what I figured we could do this episode. I think it'll be kind of fun.
Sounds good. Let's get to hot
All
take.
right. The first hot take here is, if there isn't a vertical printing on the side of your box, I think less of you as a company. This was sent in by Brady.
So I just want to make sure I understand this. So you're talking about if the game is on its spine, you want the letters running from top to bottom. Is that what they're saying?
A vertical, let me see if I can get it. Like, for example, this one right here, First Class. That's not vertical. That's not vertical.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I guess that would be considered vertical.
No, I
don't think it is.
No, put it on the spine again, Sam.
That's not vertical.
I think what they're saying, they want the F so you can read. So it's
Yeah. So they want like First Class,
correct,
and pictures and all this other kind of stuff down here.
I believe so. Right.
All right. So what do you think?
I don't know why. I've never thought about it. It's you can still read it, right? I mean, if you can read, right? I mean, it like you can still read it.
Person?
Yeah. Right. So I don't know why that's such a big deal. I don't get it.
I think it's an aesthetic thing. I kind of feel this guy's pain a little bit because there are certain titles that I catch myself when I'm looking at titles, when I'm looking at boxes, I catch myself going like this, so I can read the thing. Sometimes, not all the time. I catch myself doing it, and I have to say, stop, stupid. You can read it. Just look at it straight. I get that. But putting it vertically on at least one side, it makes it more aesthetically pleasing, I think, for people who store their games vertically. Now, that would open us up into another whole like echelon or can of worms on should you store your games vertically. But if you store your games vertically, I can see why this would be a problem, but I don't store most of my games vertically, so it's not a big problem for me.
Yeah, I don't get it. So
I don't get it. Not a hot take for
not a hot take for me.
Tim. It's not a hot take. All right, here we go. Here's one that I don't think this is a hot take. I think this is actually pretty logical. But here we go. Jason sent in, Calyx shelves are overrated.
Well, I mean, I guess it's one of those kind of things. Yeah, I mean, they've sort of ingrained themselves, for lack of a better term, I don't know, in the board gaming industry.
Yeah,
I mean,
very much
what it is they're good, right? They're good, sturdy shelves for people like me who are not handy people at all. As you see here, I don't have Calyx shelves, right? They're not games. I mean, they're bookshelves. But
neither do I.
So I don't know if they're overrated. I mean, they're inexpensive. They're good. They serve a purpose. So I just don't know where the overrating comes in. I think they're fine.
Well, I don't know that they're inexpensive. I had these built by a contractor for less than it would have taken to provide the same amount of area with shelving by buying Calyx shelves.
Okay.
For me to put Calyx shelves, for this area, it was going to cost me like, I want to say it was like $700 or $800, and that's just purchasing them. That's not including the gas that I would have had to travel over to Seattle to the nearest IKEA and back. So the food for eating while I'm on the road, all that kind of stuff. So I was looking at probably close to around $900 if I was going to buy Calyx shelves. I think we paid somebody $500 for these, and I don't even know if it was that much, but it was expensive. So I don't know that they're inexpensive, but I do think the overrated part, I think they're talking about how everybody, when you start talking about shelves, they come up. It's like, what kind of shelves do you have? Well, do you have Calyx? Well, No, I just have wooden shelves. Y- y- But but but, but did you look at the Calyx ones? And they always just come up, and it's like that's the standard for board gaming shelves nowadays. And I'm like, doesn't really have to be. Mm, I don't know. I don't know that it's as much. I agree with the guy. I don't think it's a hot take.
I don't need. Again, I just don't see the overrating. When I owned my board game cafe, I had all Calyx, right, all over, because again, it was just with consistency, right? It was consistency. It kind of looks
Sure.
good. I knew I
Mhm,
could always get them. Blah 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 blah
mhm,
blah. But yeah,
mhm.
I don't really think it's a take either. Just okay.
Sure. All righty. Here's one. Patrick says dexterity games are not part of the board game hobby.
Well, okay, okay. I don't know this person, but I think I'm gonna say this. And again, I don't know the person, but whatever. That's sort of us being like a snobby statement, right? I mean, come on, right? It is because I get it, right? In my mind, I'm like, you go, right? Yes, blah blah blah. Because that's being a snob, right? I'm just
Yeah.
being honest. That's just being that's a
Yeah.
snobby statement. I get it. I fully get it. To me, I would almost say that activities, right? Well, the games we call activities, which again is sort of a snobby statement, right? Because they're games, but we call them
Mm,
activities.
yeah.
So I agree in that aspect, right? They're activities, so they're not board games. But
Mhm.
if we want to be welcoming, which we do in the board gaming community, we know blah blah blah. It's sort of a bad thing to say, right? We shouldn't. We should
Very
not.
much.
We should
Yeah.
not say that. But I
Yeah.
get it.
This, I definitely see the hot take value of this one because of what you just said. It's very put offish.
Yes,
It's very,
100%.
it's very exclusionary. It's
Yep,
very opposite everything that you're trying to do when you're trying to grow a hobby.
100%.
Uh,
Yeah.
you want to assimilate. You don't want to. What's the opposite of assimilate? Decimate. I don't
Excommunicate.
know.
I don't know. Yes. Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is a hot take because it is kind of very get off my lawn,
Yeah. Yeah.
feeling
For
to it.
sure.
And so I get that. I don't necessarily, yeah, I guess so. Maybe dexterity games are they carry a different vibe with them than most of the other games that we play. I don't think they're any less of a game, but they definitely carry a different vibe as far as they're more like they carry more of a party atmosphere than a strategic or a tactical atmosphere, which is what a lot of these games carry.
Right.
And they're more physical and they're less cranial. So I get that there is a difference between the two, but I don't know that it's any more than the difference between different genres within board gaming.
Well, yeah. I
Um,
mean, yes, I see where you're going, and it is true in a sense. They are sort of apples and oranges, right? Because when you say let's use Crokinole, which is a dexterity game, which is in the
is
top
that how you
100.
say that? Is that
What's
how
that?
you pronounce that properly? Crokinole?
Or Crokinole? I don't know. It's something.
I don't know. No, I was asking legitimately,
Yeah,
because
I have no
I've
idea.
always said crokinole, but you
Yeah,
used to live
yeah,
up north, so
yeah. It could be. I don't know. Tomato. Yeah, I have no idea. I really don't. But like Crokinole, right? Crokinole. Like it's yeah. It's yeah. You can't compare that with Agricola. Say they're just apples and oranges, right? Because it's kind of like Crokinole is like darts now because you can play that in a bar. And darts
Mhm.
and Crokinole are sort of the same, and you're not going to
Yeah,
compare darts to Agricola. So it's kind of apples and oranges. So it's
but it's
yeah.
still all fruit though, right?
Absolutely. No,
Yeah,
absolutely. So
yeah.
yeah, it's they're still games and we should be inclusive and welcoming. And yes, they are games. They
Okay,
yes. Yeah.
cool. Next one, Radislaw says the benefits of solo modes in games are underappreciated.
Whoa. Okay. I am going to, I guess, use my own personal take. I I don't do solo games. And
Yeah.
to me, solo gaming is sort of like it's not what games are for. Games are for being with people. Like I said, my favorite genre is cooperative game. Like you
Yeah,
need
yeah,
people. So
yeah.
like solo games just for me are just I don't care. If they never put a solo variant or a solo game ever, I would not miss it at all. So, but there are people who love them. There are people who need them because they may not have friends in the community. I get all that. So again, it's just a personal preference thing. For me, I like I said, I could never care less, but people do enjoy them. So
yeah, no, I'm in a unique spot with this one. 6 years ago, I would have absolutely agreed with this statement, 100%. Because I was very much in the same vein that you are, and I still kind of am. I always prefer to play games with other people. That's always the preference. I rarely, if ever, find myself thinking I want to go play a solo board game. I used to say it back then, and I still kind of say it now, although I don't play video games anymore. If I want to play a solo game, I'm going to go play a video game. Because it's the same kind of experience, but just with a little bit more eye candy. And so that's what I used to say, and I kind of am still like that. However, because of the situation that I'm in now, where I'm running my own channel and I'm kind of doing the stuff by myself, I do have JT coming and helping and with top bottom fives and top fives and playthroughs on Friday, but that's basically 2 days out of the week. The other 5 days of the week, it's me and my wife, and because of that, I've had to kind of lean into, if I find a game that has a solo mode, I'm much more willing to teach myself how to play that game using the solo mode than I am to teach myself how to play a game by having to play two players at the same time. That for me has been one of those underappreciated benefits of solo modes, is that I can teach myself how to play the game by playing the game. And that's how I learn how to do stuff a lot easier than just reading through a rule book and trying to understand what it's doing. And because of that, I like solo modes that are much closer to how the multiplayer game experience is than here's how you play the multiplayer experience, but then here's a completely different game that you can play with those same components, and it's called the solo mode. I actually agree with this guy. I think Radoslaw hit the nail on the head. I don't think all games need it, but I see the benefits of those that do.
Yeah, 100%. There are people who, like, you said, use them, enjoy them, whatever. Yeah. So if it's for you, it's for you. If for me, it's not, then it's just not.
All right, next, here we go. It says, Shiny Happy Meeple says this, and we were just talking about this earlier with you saying that sometimes artwork is overused, but this says, too many really good games have art that looks like it was designed for a storybook aimed at 3-year-olds.
Again, that's just personal preference, right? I mean,
it is. Artwork is super subjective.
Art is super, right? Super. Right. It's just
with this one, I would have loved some type of qualifier as to what they meant as artwork that's aimed at 3-year-olds. Like, give me a couple of ideas or some examples of what you mean. I originally went, when I first heard this hot take, I originally went anthropomorphic animals. That was my first stop, but it doesn't necessarily need to be that, I guess. I can think of a lot of anthropomorphic animal artwork that doesn't look like it should be for 3-year-olds, but
correct, 100%. Like, there's a big difference between.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying there's a big difference between, like, say, Everdell art as opposed to, say, like, Critter Kitchen.
Sure.
Right? They're.
Yep. And that's actually a Critter Kitchen, Flamecraft. It does look like it's a kid's storybook, but it's really nice art.
Right.
But it does look like it's supposed to be a children's book, right? I actually, wow. When we were in Enumclaw, we visited a bookstore / coffee shop that was just right down the road from the Cole Street Game Vault that I talked about a couple episodes ago, because we bought some games there. And we were standing there, putting in our coffee. We also got sandwiches because we were there for lunch. And after we had placed our order, I turned around and I was like, is that a book about Flamecraft? Because I kid you not, I swear it was the same artist, but it was actually a children's book.
Oh, okay.
Like it was actually a children's book, and we picked it up. Jesse and I, we picked it up. We were looking through it, and we were like, "This looks like it goes with Flamecraft." That's how close the artwork was. But that just goes to tell you that maybe that's what he's talking about. And if that's what he's talking about, I kind of disagree with him. I really like that kind of artwork. And I think that makes the games more palatable almost, because it kind of deadens the complexity a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, again, that's, you know, and again, I guess we probably should have started off this, Sam, with giving a definition to what's a hot take, right? Because, like, I mean, this is just a personal preference. I don't, you know what I mean?
Well, I think well, I don't know. I don't know about some. I think most hot takes are preferences. They're very individualized, and either you disagree with them. Well, I'm sorry, either you agree with them or you vehemently disagree with them. But I think both of us are kind of we aren't the extremes. I feel like you and I are both very centric in a lot of the beliefs that we can have about board games. A lot of things won't seem like hot takes for us because
I guess, yeah,
we're a little bit more level-headed than instead of being on one extreme or the other. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. I get it. So yeah, to me, it's just a personal preference. Sure. I'm not a big, like you know, you have your Vincent Dutrait, you really like that. I'm not a big artwork kind of person. It doesn't really matter to me a whole lot.
You just want colors and numbers. I get it.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Now this is something that we have talked about on a previous episode in a little bit of a different way, but I think you'll see the connection. Kristen says board gamers wildly underestimate how complex board games seem to the average non-gamer.
100%.
Yeah.
I would dare say the vast majority of people do. Widely overestimate how complicated they are. And here's the thing. I don't know. I think for non-gamers, I think one of the big things, it's sort of like when it comes to trivia. A lot of people don't like trivia because they just don't want to feel stupid, right? That like they don't know the answers.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing I found, you know, because running a board game cafe for, 8 years, however long I had or whatever, seeing all those people and demoing at conventions with games and stuff. And those are gamers mostly at conventions. But the average person, their experience is, Hearts online on their computer, maybe Monopoly, Chutes and Ladder, things like that. So anything other than what they know, it's kind of like that trivia thing. I don't want to look stupid. And we as gamers, we even think something like, Onitama, like with chess or Splendor. We're like, oh, those are easy little patchwork. I mean, we could name dozens of them. Simple, easy. They're not. Like to just a regular person who doesn't play games.
Yep.
There's stuff to these games.
Yeah. And that's why I sometimes, whenever I'm introducing these games to people, I try to find a hook that will draw the game that I'm introducing to them a little bit closer to maybe a previous experience that they've had. That's why I will say that Onitama is a very chess-like game, because it has the same kind. Now, is it? No, not really, because the individual pieces don't have their own little movements and everything like that. Right. But the concept is still the same. I'm going to start on my side of the board. You're going to start on your side of the board. And we have these different moves that we're going to be moving these pieces with. So if I can provide that little hook so that somebody can kind of ground themselves on something they already know, realizing that there's just a slight difference to that something that they already know, it helps break through some of that anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think which gamers I found, even with me, right? I consider myself a gamer, right? Falling in that genre. And you know what I mean when I say that. Like when I learned Speakeasy the other day, my first Lacerda game, right? Blah blah blah. I was like, listen, really, just 10 minutes, give me an overview, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is a lot of gamers, I think they miss the point when they're trying to teach games to non-gamers. Like this is just me, my opinion. Most people like don't like talking just doesn't sink in, especially about something they don't do, right? They don't play games. So don't sit and talk to them for 5 minutes. Oh, this is easy. Let me show you this. Just do it. And like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like what I usually use is Take 5 or 6 Nimmt, right? To me, you know that game well. Hopefully a lot of people watching this do. Here's how I teach it. I deal out the cards. You know what, guys? I'm not even going to teach you how to play. We're just going to go. Pick a card out of your hand. It doesn't matter. Put it face down. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Turn it over. Okay, great. Here's what we're going to do now. Blah, 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 and we just start playing. So that way they're doing and learning. And it just, to me, that makes it much more easier to get into it. And that's, yes, I agree with this statement 100%. The majority of us gamers vastly overestimate the complexity of even the simplest games.
Very much so. Very much so. That's one of the original, one of the first conversations that you and I had on the Western Contingent was this idea of using the word easy.
Yes.
When you're
that's
teaching
right. I
the
remember
game.
that.
And that's exactly what this is talking about. So if you want to know, if you want a little bit more of an in-depth discussion about this, you can go back to that episode and check that out. All right. We think, and we as a content creators, I guess, we think we are reviewing games, but we are more so reviewing experiences. Matt D sent that one in. What do you think about that?
You know, that I think is a whole longer discussion. And what I mean by that is I would sort of say I maybe disagree with that a little bit, because a lot of the reviewers, to me, they review the game. And the emphasis is on the review of the game, how it made them feel.
Right.
I think so to me, I sort of disagree with that. Where
isn't that them reviewing their experience with the game though?
Well, no, because I don't think they're. Let me see if I can explain this. They're not saying like, oh, God, I really enjoyed this game. It made me feel so good. I really like this, blah, blah, blah. They do say a little bit of that, but I think the vast majority is just, about the game. And it's kind of like one of these shows I watch. It's called Unexplained, or like one of these. I just love those shows. They'll spend like 5 minutes talking about what this UFO or thing could be, and then they'll spend like 15 seconds on what their conclusion of what it was. And I'm like, why who cares about all of it? Just tell me, and I think reviewers do a lot of that. They spend a lot of time reviewing the game in a very short time, how it really made them feel, which is more important to me. Like I don't watch a whole lot of videos and stuff, but I only care about, did you like it? How did it really make you feel? So it's really only 30 seconds or 1 minute of your 20-minute review that I kind of care about. So you see what I'm saying? So
Tom has kind of the same. He wants reviews to be about 15 minutes long, and generally speaking, at least half of that needs to be your thoughts on the game. So he usually, from my experience with him, he usually wants the reviews to be a very short amount of time explaining how the game is working, just to give a general idea of how the game works. And then the rest of it, and really this is what many people that have responded to reviews in the past, this is what they're looking for too, much like what you're saying. They want to know what we thought about the game and how we liked it and why we liked it and all of that kind of stuff. They can find out how to play anywhere else. They want to know what our opinion of the game is and how it made us feel and all of that kind of stuff. I kind of half agree with this, and I kind of half don't agree with it, along the same lines as what you're saying, because I do usually tend to speak longer about my pros and my cons and my rating and my final thoughts on the game and all of that kind of stuff. My problem is I don't want to leave something out of my game explanation part of the review that I think is important. The problem is none of it is really important. You're just trying to give and an idea of how the game works, not exactly how the game works.
Yeah, because it's also one of those kind of things when people, again, this is just a me thing. People like say, "Oh, I tried this game. Oh, really? Did you like it? How was it?" And then they start going, "Oh, well, you take this thing and you go here, and then this does that," and I just turn off because I'm just like, I can't follow that.
Right.
How did it make you feel? Did you like it? That's really all I care about.
Sure.
If you start telling, that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care. Like, if you're a friend of mine and you say, "Oh, man, I really love this game. It was great." That's all I need for me to go try.
Volumes,
you don't need to tell me what happens or how it works because I'm not going to be able to understand it. So yeah.
Yep. All right. Here's one that you might get offended by. So just prepare yourself. 99% of co-op games are just solo games that were made worse by adding more players for no reason.
The fact of the matter is it's true, right? Any co-op
Come on, get
game,
offended, Tim. Come on, give it to them.
I mean, any co-op game can be played solitaire, right? That's just a fact.
Yeah. That's not what he's saying. Played
solo. What do they say? Okay,
he was saying that 99% of co-op games are just solo games that were made worse by adding more players for no reason. So I think that's the hot take of it.
That were made worse. Oh, I see.
Yeah, they were made worse by adding more players.
Yeah, I mean, if that's how they, again, because like I 100% would disagree with that, right? So right. Yeah, I would 100% disagree with that because but again, it comes down to a personal preference because to me, that is gaming. If I could play games, cooperative games, the games I like with limited communication for the rest of my life and never play a sort of like even the heavy Euros, Agricola type games where blah, 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 ever again, I would do that because that's what the gaming experience to me is. 3 or 4 people sitting down at a table, all enjoying each other's company, doing the same thing. That's the pinnacle of it. So yeah, I 100% disagree with that statement.
Yeah, when I read this, my immediate thought was, who hurt Steven and why does he feel this way about other people? That's where I went with this. I'm sorry. I'm like, if this guy just wants to play solo games by himself, why does he feel this way now? I don't understand, but I really disagree with it. It's true that most co-op games can be played with solo, with just one person, but why would you want to default to that? And why do you think that the games were made worse by unnecessarily adding players to it? Yeah. Most of the time with co-op games, when you have multiple players in there, all of those players have their own little special abilities, and they're able to take part using their powers and all of that kind of stuff. It's such a fun experience. I definitely don't agree with the fact that they were solo games that were just made worse.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
The premise is true. Most co-op games can be played as a solo.
Most can, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one. I don't know how you would feel about this. I know how I feel about it.
Okay.
Flipping cards is a more interesting method of randomization than rolling dice, Jane says.
Well, I'm not quite sure what they mean by flipping cards.
So basically, like what it's come back to in my past is having a deck of dice or having dice. And so you can either roll 2 dice for the randomization element, or you have a deck of cards that have dice faces on them, and you shuffle that deck and you just flip a card. And that's the randomization of your dice rolls by just flipping a card. Or some other kind of randomization element. It doesn't necessarily have to be dice, because it doesn't have to be pips on the die. It could be different resources or different faces or whatever it might be. But they're basically saying that it's more interesting to flip a card for randomization purposes instead of rolling a die. Rolling dice.
Did you say they're saying it's more interesting?
It's a more interesting method of randomization than rolling dice.
Well,
let me just stop you here. Categorically false. Let me just say that. Go ahead.
Okay. No. I was going to say, if the key word is interesting, then absolutely not. Because it's just the dynamic, right? A card you take and you flip over. Action done.
Yep.
With dice, which is totally ridiculous. It just kills me when people do it, and they'll sit there and they'll go like, ah! That's not doing anything. Like,
no, I'm making it more random.
I know, but inside I am just like cracking up because they're like thinking that's changing anything. It's not doing anything. But with that, and then them bouncing on the table and coming to a thing, how could you? That is so much more interesting than just flipping a card. So
I absolutely, you and I could be friends forever now. That's good.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Okay. Leon G says, stop sleeving all of your games.
Wrong. You are wrong, Leon.
I get it. It's protecting the investment and it's providing for longevity of game, but I just don't do it because, quite frankly, those games that I feel like I need to sleeve, if I really, really am honest with myself, I don't play those games as much as I would have to really provide that much wear on the cards.
Yes. Okay.
Sometimes you do. The smaller ones, definitely, because they're easier to get to the table. But those big games that have cards in them that you handle, you play it once, then it sits on your shelf for a month, then you play it again, and then it sits on your shelf for 2 months. You don't play that game enough for you to need sleeves on your cards. I don't know.
Maybe. No, I agree with all that. I agree with all those sentiments. That is true, right? Some games. However, one of the things that I don't think people take into account, which I sort of do, and I do when I play, and some people may or may not, but when you play somebody's game, or when you're playing with a friend, they bring their game over, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, they pull out an insert and the cards are sleeved and this and that and this and that. For me, and I'm hoping the reverse for other people, you're like, ooh, I need to be careful with this game a little bit more, blah, 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 because of the care that they're putting into it, right? And you know what I mean? Instead of like just bags, pulling bags out and throwing this, dumping your cards, they're all worn and thing. Like, I just think subliminally, you're just like, well, they don't care about the game. I'm not going to care about it, putting it back or doing whatever. So again, that's just, getting probably too deeper than this really needs to get. But no, yes, the investment part, the protection part, all that thing, because it's going to be worth more value if you decide to get rid of it in 5 years. And if the cards are frayed or sleeved or worn, blah, 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 your pieces. But no, that's a real personal thing with me that was taught to me by a friend of mine. I sleeve all my games.
Okay, cool. Yep. I don't, but I do sleeve some of them. But that is what it is. All right, last one. Here we go. And this could get a little juicy, but we'll see. Daniel M says the game should be done when the crowdfunding campaign launches.
No.
So what he's saying is that the publisher should be completely done designing the game before the campaign launches. That you shouldn't have more work to do after launch.
I mean, no. I mean, well, listen, Sam. First of all, what is the word he said? Crowdfunding. If the game is done, what needs to be funded?
The production of it.
No, the game is done. So it doesn't need
No. That's not what he's saying. It should be it should be done as far as from a design aspect. It should be done, not from a production aspect. You're taking it to crowdfunding so that you can afford to produce it and you're going to make money when you sell it from those production costs. But from a design perspective, I think, I'm trying to read between the lines here, from a design perspective, the game should be finished. You should have a complete rule book done and ready to go. And the game that you provide should be, let's just say 99% the same game that you put up on Crowdfunder.
I see. Yeah, that is kind of juicy. I would agree with that because I would say I don't necessarily agree if we're gonna make a scale, and if they're saying done as in 100%, then I would say I totally disagree. But if we're going to make a scale and say 90 or 80% done, then you see what I'm saying? So I think there needs to be a bottom to the done. If 100%, then I say no. But if you're talking 80, I would probably say, yeah, I think a game should at least be 80% or something.
I would agree with that. And I think it should be 80%. Let's just go with that as an arbitrary
Right.
common
Okay.
ground. I would say it needs to be 80% in all aspects of the game.
Yes.
My experience with this from a community director point of view has been so frustrating because you have people that are asking you valid questions and you just don't have good answers for them because the people above you aren't providing you with the answers that you need that should already be answered. You know what I mean? And
because it didn't reach that benchmark, right?
If we had reached that 80%, it would have made my job 100% easier.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Right.
I would have been able to go off of what had been done already and say, just expect for this extra 20%, just expect more of what you already see.
Right.
The closer you can get, I'm not going to say 100% because there's always going to be editing. There's going to be rewording the rules. There's going to be, more play testing that's done that's going to bring some problem to light, and they're going to have to change that. So as close as you can get to 100% as possible, that's what you need to be shooting for, especially with bigger games. With smaller games, I think you should be able to hit pretty daggum close to 100% before you go to that campaign launch. So I actually do kind of agree on a personal level with this statement, much more than I thought that I would. Like you said originally, it is crowdfunding, and the design work is some of that time that you're trying to be compensated for. It's not just the production, especially if you're a new publisher, if you're a small publisher and you've done all the design work, you've already paid out of pocket for artwork. You maybe have even paid out of pocket for graphic design. You've paid out of pocket for editorial work. You may have already paid out of it. So you're looking to get some of that back. And I understand that. But from a consumer's point of view, in order for me to back your project, I really want to see as close to a finished product as I possibly can without the product actually being produced. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like I said, I only agree with this statement if there is a percent benchmark. Like 100%, I would say no. I disagree with that statement. But if I agree, if you're saying 80, like we're saying an arbitrary number, 80%, you can't take people's money with a half-baked, I think I can say that. That's not too bad, right? But whatever, you can't do it, right? I don't think that's being not honest, but being what's the term I'm looking for, Sam? You can't do that to people. Right?
Disingenuous, probably.
Maybe disingenuous. You can't expect money from people from a product that's just that's 50%. You can't do that. You need to be down the road.
I think if you're doing that, even if you're doing that in good faith, you're opening up the possibility for you not to be able to fulfill the promises that you've made.
Yes. Yep.
And that's the problem. It's not necessarily that, look, I have this concept and I think it's going to be grand and I know I can make it happen to an extent, but then the snowball starts rolling a little bit during that campaign, and people and stretch goals and this and that. And pretty soon you're like, oh crap, how am I going to get this to work? And you have to start cutting corners. And that's where you're in trouble. And I think that's the problem. Sometimes the lion becomes a little bit bigger than you thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you find yourself having to cut corners where you didn't think you would need to cut corners.
The other thing which comes into this discussion, I know we got to end, but is the potential of opening rabbit holes. Right?
Yeah.
Because you want to be sort of like 80% done, because say you're 50-60% done and you're like, oh, let's go to crowdfunding, but then like your pre-production copies, your prototypes, and people come up with great ideas, and all of a sudden like, oh yeah, let's do that, let's add that, and you start going down these rabbit holes, and it just pushes them. You don't want that at all. Like,
Absolutely agree.
It's fantastic. I like doing this. I I like these hot takes. I like these discussions. This is really good.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Well, anyway, that is it for us today, folks. So I hope you enjoy this. This is, again, what Sam did is took questions from the hot takes that the Dice Tower had on their thing. Part two, yeah. So please make sure you go and watch that so you can hear, I believe it's Joey, Z, Camilla, Chris, and Tom. You can hear their views and their takes on it. See ours, compare ours. But again, please comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Watch the Dice Tower. Watch Sam's channel. All that kind of stuff. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us in these videos.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, people. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side.
On the flip side. All right. Bye, everybody. I'm Tim from Las Vegas.
I'm Sam. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.